Welcome to the Winning Move podcast. I'm your host, Stratton Brown. This is a Wednesday. Me and Mike, we're going to do a podcast. We have our video guy, Jake, here. And then Mike forgot because he's got another rental Airbnb that he's getting set up, going out there and making that money. So we decided to improvise. At this point, I'm trying to get out 3 to 4 podcasts a week. I'm going to do one a week with Michael Zuber. Then we have the one with me and Mike. Then we have my solo one. Then we have an interview. So goal is get out 4 podcasts a week, and I'll talk more about this as we're going. But before all this, if you guys watch this on YouTube, subscribe. If you guys are on the podcast app, please go give us a 5-star review. We need it. We love it. Share it with your friends. But I'll start off why I spent almost $10K for a fucking 4-hour flight to Orlando on a private jet. Number one, my brand. The number one thing that makes me the most money is my brand. And I'll paint this picture for you. So DM was like, hey, bro, come on the jet. I was like, okay, yeah. And then as I'm on the jet, number one, I get to monetize all of the video and pictures that I take on my way there, while I'm there, and on my way home. And yes, I joke all the time like, oh yeah, bro, I need more guru content. I need more guru content. It still goes into the brand. People still love that shit. People still buy it. Yes, I do want to buy a jet, but it only grows my social media. I'm so big on social media because it makes me the most money. My brand is the number one thing that is going to buy me anything I want. I use the Kylie Jenner example. Kylie Jenner's became a billionaire off of fucking swipe up on Instagram selling makeup. All because she has as many followers and she has a lot of influence. I need to buy more influence. Me on this jet was me buying influence so I can gain more power, more money. You're like, oh, well, how is that even buying influence? You're just wasting money. Number one, I was on a jet with 10 other badass dudes with a mentor of mine who, number one, if I'm sitting there with him, I build that relationship more, and he's taught me play the long game, build the relationships. That's what's going to make me the money, right? So I'm building the relationships with the 10 other badass entrepreneurs on the plane. And then when I fly in, everybody's like, oh yeah, how'd you get here? Who'd you come with? Or they're like, oh, you flew in with DM. And when I'm talking to them, oh yeah, like I just flew in here with Mark. I think we're leaving a little bit later. Automatically, right now, it adds credibility to my name because I flew in on a private jet with Mark Evans. As shitty as that sounds, it does. Like, oh, wow, you flew in with Mark? How do you know Mark? Mark was a speaker. So I bought into Mark's influence right away. Everybody sees me and associates me with Mark, who was ever at that event. All those connections I made there, they're all thinking, oh, wow, Strat does stuff with Mark. Strat must mean something. As crazy and stupid as all of this sounds, that matters in the world of business, right? That matters as I'm trying to push and grow my social media because I know if I grow my influence more, I can go and take an equity stake in whatever company I want because I control all of my own advertising, right? So now I fly in, and I think Tim said there was only 20 people who flew in on a private jet. I was one of them. 10 of us were with Mark. The other 10 people did their own thing, but still, you can still say, oh yeah, no, I flew on a private jet. You're meeting dozens and dozens and hundreds of people who are all wealthy, but they all still look up to the guy who's on the stage speaking on about how to make more money. And then you flew in with the speaker who talked about how to make more money. Automatic credibility to your brand. And while you're there, right? While I was there, I try and talk to as many people. I met a bunch of dope people. Some of you guys might be watching, but that's why I did it. It's going to make me so much money. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not the next week, but I mean, I'm playing the long game. Right. I want everybody's emails. I want everybody's social media handles. I want everybody to follow me. So next time I do decide to start a business, no matter what vertical it's in, I don't even have to go to other influencers. I say, hey, I go to my YouTube channel. I go to my email list. Hey, this is the company we're starting. You already know, like, and trust me because you watch this. You see all my social. You see all of it. And then you're like, oh, yeah, well, that does solve my problem. And you guys are already the avatar I'm trying to serve. And I automatically have a multi-million-dollar business off of that, hopefully 8, 9, 10 figures. We created one of our businesses to 7 figures a year with 0 advertising spend, all with my fucking Facebook account. True story. So if I can do that with that company, what else could I do with other companies? What else could I grow more as I gain more influence? And yes, that was all good. And the influence thing was probably the biggest one, but I still can't discount the network. I met a dope ass jeweler. I met a guy who should leave his job. If you're listening, my man, you know who you are. Leave it. You got it. You have the skill set. Go fucking kill it. And a bunch of other badass dudes. Another dude who can raise all the money I need for any real estate deal I want to do, and he takes an equity split. That's a service to me. I would have not known that guy if I did not go do that, right? And so the same way as you're paying to go into these masterminds, I'm paying to get around Mark so I can see how he thinks more. I care about that shit. I care about how he thinks. I care about how he processes things. I care about how he solves problems. I care about how he handles his day-to-day, how he handles his family. I care about that shit, right? That's why I paid him. So I can get to know him, so I can see what's going on upstairs. That's why I did it. And then the network, right? Tim Brott's mastermind, the network was fucking crazy. A bunch of amazing heavy hitters up there. I got to meet a ton of amazing people, get some connections. And you never know when those connections are going to come through. And again, you're in a room with people who, most of them, I'd say they're all more successful than me as far as multifamily goes. So I'm still pulling from all of them, pulling all of that knowledge, oh, so what'd you do there? What'd you do there? Oh, so you do this? How'd you approach that? All of that good stuff. And over time, it's only going to make me more money. When people push back and they say, oh, I don't pay for education, or I don't do masterminds, I don't buy courses, or spending it like, and it's not a big amount, but I bet you I buy 2 courses a month on some bullshit that I want to learn. 2 courses a month of something. I'm like, oh, fuck. All right. And I Google course on X and X and X. I know we just bought another YouTube course because I was like, man, I need to grow my YouTube more. It's not looking good enough. How can we get better? I go buy something. I shortcut to skills. But that is the first reason of why, those are the main reasons of why I went on the jet. And if any of you guys have any opportunity to tag on to someone else's influence, I'd tell you to do it. If you're going to any type of event, pay for VIP. Go meet the speakers, build the relationships with them, and that'll make your life a whole lot easier. Odds are, if I'm joining a mastermind, I'm joining for the person who started it. Just right? Because the person who started it has the most influence. And with that person, right, now I have a relationship, they have the most influence, and I can learn from them. And it's still cheap, but yes, I may pay them, I may not. For the Powerhouse Mastermind, my good friend Los is coming on. I joined to get closer to him and Josh Snow. Really that, and then I know I'll learn the skills I need to from everyone else in there and all the other amazing tools they give us in that mastermind. But I joined to get closer to them and somewhat pull off their influence. If they ask, I tell them, yeah, that's what I'm doing. But for the takeaways from the Legacy Wealth event, I have quite a few. I thought it was an amazing event. The way they started it off, believe it or not, was a guy talking about I think he wasn't from Bangladesh. He made an Indian joke though, so I'm not being racist. He talked about, his name is at JJ Live. He only talked about for like an hour building your brand more. So I'm in a mastermind. The starter of it owns 4,400 units. He created that mastermind from his own personal brand that pays him a couple million a year for 2 events, right? It is a lot of work, but it's still more income based off of no advertising spend. And he's telling everybody, no, you need to build your brand. The bigger I build my brand, the more money I can raise, right? All these things that I talked about before, but the first person who talks at the event, they're not talking about fucking multifamily. They're not talking about anything, but you need to build your brand more because it gives you more power. It gives you more influence. It'll eventually make you more money. Learn, like, trust, listen, all that good stuff. I'm buying influence. If I do that, I'll make the most money. But then before that, not right after that, they started off with a giving thing. And you guys know how big I am on giving, donating money to charities and everything else like that. But some little girl who is 6 years old got a disease that will kill her within a year, and there's nothing the family can do. Right? I'm in the mastermind at the seat, starting off just crying like, oh my God, this awful. I think about our son. But then he says, hey, here's the family, here's what we're doing, here's the nonprofit that you can go donate to, so that way we have more money going towards research to stop this disease. I love that shit, right? You're in a room full of multimillionaires. How can we get more money to this cause when everybody's there? Everybody's pockets are already open when we are there. In all honesty, right? You already paid X amount to get there. You're not going to mind spending a little bit more. But that to me was the biggest thing that stood out, is that still everybody at that level, some of you guys may be used to giving, some of you guys may not. I try and give as much as possible. They're still trying to give more. How can you give more? How can you have more impact? Because still at the same time, you're going to be making money. I don't know what money amount I'll be like truly satisfied and be looking for more impact, but I know I want more money, but I'm still looking for significantly more impact in my life. How can I help other people? How can I deliver more value? Like all of that good stuff. And so that made me feel really good. The next thing from that mastermind was day 2. Pretty much all they talked about was crypto. Oh yeah, crypto's a fad, crypto's a fad, crypto's a fad. This shit is not a fad. This shit's wild. For anyone listening, write down Olympus DAO and Time Wonderland. One of my friends at the Powerhouse Mastermind, like halfway through, like a month and a half ago, was telling me about Time Wonderland and tell me about his returns. I thought he was like, bro, you're gonna get screwed over. I didn't even understand what he was talking about. Over the last 2 days, I've been going down a YouTube hole, learning about this stuff and reading white pages and white papers, whatever you want to call them, about different crypto projects. And everyone there, they had an entire crypto panel, another dude with a crypto hedge fund, talking about you need to be investing significantly more money in cryptocurrency. It's the future. It's not going away. Just because you're a real estate person, a real estate guy, doesn't mean you can't be throwing as much money as you feel comfortable with in crypto, but don't not throw anything in there. And this, again, these are people who own thousands of units, who make millions of dollars a year. They're saying, oh, bro, nope, crypto. I don't see any other gains like that. Some of them get it. Some of them get exactly how it works. Other people don't. But crypto is what you need to be investing in. If you guys have any questions, reach out to me. I'm going down a hole trying to educate myself more, and I'm going to be starting to throw some serious cash into it. We have not a lot of money, but now I'm seeing some things, getting more confident, right? Educate yourself first. But man, it's crazy. I'm getting a little bit of FOMO. I'm sure you are too, but we got to get a lot more into crypto. And that's, again, what they're talking about. Crypto for the next day. And then the last part was talking about tax breaks and what you need to do for taxes, right? To where what's Gary's last name? Gary Nealon. Gary sold his company for, I believe, $50 million. It was a online drop shipping company for wholesale cabinet companies. It sounds a little bit complex. All you do is set up a front end website. When I say I'm just trying to simplify it. Set up a front end website, and then he would be the marketing arm for all the wholesale cabinet companies. He sold that thing for $50 million, and he gets up and he starts talking about, you know what? I wish I would have known that nobody ever fucking talks about how I'm going to avoid all of these taxes. He's like, bro, I had to pay a lot of money in taxes when I sold that company. And so he got up talking about like the Augusta rule, all these other good things, and buying art. Here's an example. So he buys art and he lets it appreciate, and he just buys up art whenever he can. He knows whatever ones are going to go up in value. And then he can use that art to donate to a museum if he ever has too many gains. Let's say he wants to offset his crypto gains. And okay, so I bought this thing for $100,000. Now it's worth $300,000. I'm going to donate this piece of art to a foundation, to a charity, to a museum, and I can use that to offset my gains. It's not something I really learned about as a kid. It's not something I hear other people talking about, but he's like, bro, this is what I'm doing. This is going to help me out a lot. And there was a lot of other things that are kind of over my head, to where in a nutshell, they're pretty much, yeah, you're not going to understand all of this. You need to go get a wealth advisor. Right now, you get business, you get how to make money. We got to grow some more. Right? You can't know all of that on your own. You need to go get a legitimate wealth advisor and just keep on pushing. But now, like, most of you who follow me are making a decent amount of money. Like, how do we think about these things, right? Like, because I know all of you make money. You don't want to pay any more taxes. I hate paying taxes. I'm probably going to buy a Tesla at the end of the year just so I don't have to pay taxes on whatever that is. I can use that 6,000 pound rule or whatever. But think about that as you are making more. If your accountant tells you there's nothing else you can do besides buy real estate or blah, or blah, or blah, I would maybe find a new accountant because they probably aren't used to operating with someone at your level. And I'd ask everyone else, and you're a mastermind, hey, who is your wealth advisor? Who is your accountant? Who's your CPA? All of that good stuff. What's another section we got? We got a little bit. Another massive takeaway that will go that I still don't think about enough is Mark was talking about some bullshit and he just says, you know what I ask him? What's the solve? Quit coming to me with the bullshit. I try and talk about this a lot. I try and think better with this, but what is the solve? Don't ever come to me with your bullshit. Just come to me with your solutions. And if you can't come to me with a solution, you've already tried 9 of them. Now you're just coming for help, but you've already tried 9 solutions. Nothing worked. What is the solve? So generally, for those of you who are newer in business, or maybe you're in it and you're just a shitty leader, because I do know a lot of older people who are in business who I think are dog shit leaders. And you tell everybody what to do. Everybody comes to you for all their fires, and then nothing changes. You're using up all of your brain power. You can't push forward the company because all you do is solve everyone else's problems. You don't solve the big, hairy, audacious problem of, okay, how do we get to $1 billion? Right? Like, you want to have an exit. How do I get to $1 billion? 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 Not how does this paper go on the fucking fax machine? Let them fucking figure that out. Tell them to figure it out. But what's the solve? If most people come to me, like, what's the solve? If someone does come to me with a problem, I've gotten better now to like, all right, so tell me your solutions. Like, tell me what you've tried, and then let's go from there so I don't waste my time throwing out shit you've already tried before. And that way we can come up with a solution together, and it's a high level conversation. And as a leader, that'll help out a lot. Number one, they're more bought in. When your people can solve the problems, they're bought in because like now they have ownership. It's not you just being like, oh no, go do this, you go do this, you go do this. This person takes ownership and they do that shit. And they're like, oh nope, I already did it. I didn't even know. You don't even need to worry about it. It's all done. That's when you can truly start to scale your company, when you start to create more leaders and more independent thinkers. I think it's the hardest thing. And that'll segue into what I want to talk about next. The richest people in the world only talk on the phone. That's all they do. They only talk on the fucking phone. Think about it again. You don't see them in front of a computer. Their job is to think really big and lead people. And I'll give an example for you. Google's entire philosophy was they are going to hire on the smartest people in Silicon Valley and let them go to work. Obviously, you had to have a good leader in place, but they aren't doing too bad, right? So I sit here and think, okay, what's the number one skill I need to develop to get where I want to go? Leadership. If I can convince everyone who's smarter than me that if they work for me, they can achieve whatever they wanted, and I can help them get there, and I can paint the vision to do it, I win. Flat out, I win. Right? I have to solve a really, really big problem, and I have to think, and I walk around, right? Or I do my thing, but that's my synergy, and I can lead them. I can help them grow. I'm leading them in every direction that we're going. I'm leading the company. I win. Now all I'm doing is I'm on the phone. Think about that next time you're thinking about developing some Mickey Mouse skill to where, okay, is this skill really going to serve me, or can I hire it out? Can I cut down the time to get the skill, or is it really even necessary? Because truly, as a business owner, I think the number one skill you need to grow and scale and get at a high level is leadership. And with that leadership, you develop other leaders who, hence, keep developing more and more great leaders. You got a bunch of fucking badasses running around. That is the goal for business. For me, I don't know if you guys have a different opinion, let me know, but I see that as truly the number one way you can make as much money as humanly possible. As much money as you want. If you can be a good leader, you don't need to develop any other skills, right? Good, soft skills. We can always learn marketing. And as even leadership is somewhat marketing to humans, right? Leadership is still sales to humans. Like it's more complex than it sounds. But if you learn that skill, you win no matter what. I had some dudes come up to me the other day at Justin Young's meetup. Shout out Justin. It was a great meetup. And like, oh man, what do I need to do more? What do I need to do more? Like, how am I going to get farther? I was like, you need to be able to learn how to lead people. If you can't lead people, you're not going to go anywhere, because you're going to hit a wall to where you're doing all the shit on by yourself, and then you hire on someone, then you're an asshole, right? You're an asshole. You treat your employees like shit. You treat your partners like shit. Nothing goes anywhere. You're just a fuck. Nobody wants to work with you. You have zero leverage. Zero, zip, zilch. No leverage. You have absolutely zero leverage going for you now. Yes, you can leverage money, but the ultimate leverage is other people's time. I can't buy back time. I can't create more time. I can't create more moments with my son, right? I can't buy that. So the number one way to leverage your way the best is by developing more leaders. Whoever this is, elimination, automation, and delegation, let me know. Thank you. And then someone else said, amen. My man Jake over there said shortcut to skills. That's good. I'm telling you guys, if you can shortcut to skills, you're going to do better. I still learn other skills, but the number one skill I'm worried about developing is leadership. And then I'm only focused on my brand. If I have my brand and I'm keep developing business acumen, I can grow whatever company I want, is my personal opinion. I may not be Elon Musk and be able to learn rocket science in a day like that guy, but I should be able to do pretty good. And even that may still be a limiting belief. All right, what else we have? Oh, your concept of big. I've been thinking about this one for a minute. So again, here's another semi-friend of mine, and he tells me about who his mentors were. From the time he was 13, he had a billionaire for a mentor. Let me repeat that. A billionaire for a mentor. From that point, he made his first net million at 17 years old. Now he makes hundreds of millions of dollars. And so I'm thinking, wow, how, did that guy automatically just talk a certain way to where the guy didn't know, he doesn't know any better. No, you should be making $1 million. You should be making billions, and this is the way it is. So now I'm sitting here thinking about, all right, I'm with Zeno, with my son. As I'm talking, I need to be talking ultimately bigger so he thinks it's a regular, right? To where if people don't know it's not supposed to happen, they just go and they do and they throw down. So, if throwing down to one family looks like one thing, but then throwing down to another family something completely bigger, if I can program my child or the people around me to see what actually is massive, how could I impact their life? Right? That's crazy to think about. From 13 years old, you have a billionaire telling you what to do. No, don't think that way. Or, we did X, X, and X and we sold it for X. And then from 13, you're thinking about, oh, wow, how can I do X? How can I make that happen instead of solving a Mickey Mouse problem of, oh, I want to go make $2,000 a month. Right. So how can I help my son think better? How can I help my kids think better as we have more to think like that? And yes, we need to still have the want to and everything else. But that's a crazy thought. What is your concept of big? Are you thinking big enough? Right now, I'm freaking out because I'm like, okay, we have these companies. Can I make them big enough? Is there even a big enough market cap? Am I thinking too small? Am I truly thinking too small? Am I wasting my time? That's what worries me. I worry I'm thinking too small and I'm wasting my time. And I don't know, right? And sometimes you just don't know. But think about that next time you're doing anything, right? Can it go bigger? Who else has done something that's on a greater scale? If that's something you desire, then it's possible. Oh, we got to see Steve Forbes at the Legacy Wealth Summit. And surprise, surprise, guess what this dude talked about? build your brand. He said, your brand is everything. He's like, you need to build your brand more. And then he goes and talks about inflation. By the way, Steve Forbes thinks the government's dog shit, just like all of us do. If you follow me and you don't think the government's dog shit and they really are incompetent, then I don't know why you're following me. And he talked about how big of a blessing entrepreneurship is. He said, and this goes a lot more into like the free market libertarian thing, but generally if there's a problem, there's people like us who will step in and solve it because we know someone wants it to be solved and we can get paid accordingly. What I thought was really cool, and I mean, the guy's been around forever. Let me see what other takeaways I have in here. That might be all for us, guys. Steve Forbes, Jeff Bezos. Oh, here's a quick tip for you. Jeff Bezos, 2 pizza rule. If you have a team and 2 pizzas can't feed that team, your team's too big and needs to shrink down, which I think is true. With our upper management and our biggest company, I try and keep it smaller, and it's just department heads, and then the department heads have meetings, because right now our monthly meetings are for me, it's too much, too many people, too much stuff going on. I really only want to talk to like 5 people and they know exactly what's going on. And then from there, you can build relationships with people individually, and you need to show your people how to build relationships with them. Because now when you start getting to scale, at least for me, I can't know all of our employees. Like, there's legitimately not enough time in the day for me to know all our employees. As awful as that sounds, I don't know most of the people who work for us. That's awful, right? But if you want to quantify it by time, building a deep relationship with that person, it is kind of impossible. Yes, they still matter. Yes, they matter to our company. Yes, they matter to me. But how can we show them that the company still cares about them, and that's by their person above them, their manager or whatever, really cares about them. And the way we can show that the manager that way is that I still care about them. I show them that we still love them. I have deep, intimate conversations with them. What do they want? What are they trying to achieve? Where do you need to be? All that good stuff. Where's your family? How is your family doing? What is going on with you? Just talking to them. And if I can show them how I do that, and they can do it with everyone else, then we can keep our culture intact, which I think is, again, goes into your company culture and scaling and everything else. Still goes into leadership of how can you do it. But that is about, last one. If 2 pizzas is too much, then do you need to build the team? No. One of my goals next year is I want to make $2 million with 2 employees. $2 million net with only 2 employees. I have no idea how I'm going to do it. I don't know what company it'll be in, but that's one of my goals. I mean, if they can both have a pizza each, and I'll take a slice. That's my personal opinion with that, right? And then, for you guys who are thinking about starting businesses, think about leaning into other people's influences. Right now, I'm in talks with another guy who has a decently large Facebook group. And with that Facebook group, I have every single avatar really in existence that will need my product or service in that group. So do I make said person a really big affiliate? Do I make him an equity partner? What do I do? But with that, if I can control the group and give that person or pay that person really well, number one, I don't have to spend any upfront money. That person makes money, and then it grows organically over time and really forever, depending on how big the group is. And we service all our clients. And it's the simplest thing you could do. If you are getting started, if you are starting a business, I think finding someone who has influence, or creating your own influence, or buying influence, is the number one way to go. That's what I'll leave you guys with. Thank you guys so much for listening. It's been dope. I hope these are some good takeaways for you guys. If you guys have any feedback, let me know. I love to hear you guys' thoughts. And please go give us a 5-star review and subscribe on YouTube.